Hello. You caught us. Caught me trying to clean my glasses. Good morning to all of you guys. Let us know if you're seeing and hearing us clearly. And we are the Sawyers. We're here back with another heart to heart from Cornerstone. And glad you guys are with us this morning. Happy Easter to you. James Dixon was the first person here. Actually, he came in almost 30 minutes before everybody else. And this is what he posted. He said, "The stone has been rolled away. We have risen. Happy Easter, everyone." Thank you, James, for that. Thank you so much for that. All righty. Let's see. I'll get things straight here. Who else is coming in? Hello, Sandra. She's a second runner-up. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, Dee Dee and George. Hey, how was George's birthday? Let me know. Good morning, Kim. You and your mom. Happy Resurrection Day, she said. He paid it all. Hello, Brother Blue. And there's Pat. And baby girl's already begging for treats. Isn't that something? We hadn't even got started yet, and she's over here growling. There's my sissy and my brother-in-law. Enjoyed you guys yesterday so much. So much. It was always good to have a little family time. And just sit around and laugh and talk and eat. I made all these different pasta dishes yesterday. I don't think it's what everybody expected, but it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And there's Joe. Hey, Joe, how are you this morning? Here comes Apostle Norman. Good morning, young man. Happy Resurrection Day to you too. And all of the family in Monk's Corner and at Bold Ministries. Let's see. Here's Deb. Hello, Deb. Yes, baby girl's doing fine, Deb.
Yes, much better. Hadn't had any more episodes.
I can't tell everybody what happened, but anyway, it was funny. Good morning, Jill. Good morning to you, sweetheart. Good morning, Sharon and Miss Essie. It's good to see Miss Essie on there. I declare it seems like it's been so long since we were able to really just see one another and talk to one another. So it was good to see everybody on the Zoom the other night. I apologize for whoever didn't get to hear. I'm not sure what was happening. Most people were hearing and seeing us, and I'm not sure what happened on with the sound for some people. But anyway, we will do it again. It was good, wasn't it?
It's right nice.
Yeah.
What little bit of time I had spent with my head.
Pastor enjoys it.
Yeah.
He enjoys it so much. Hello, Tanita. Tell your mom hello, sweetie. If she's not around, just tell her hello for me.
Somebody's having a birthday out there, and I want to wish everybody that having a birthday, happy birthday.
Oh, okay. Who do you think's having a birthday?
I don't know. Some people listen to us, don't even want us to know they're online. It may be their birthday. So I want them to know we want them to have a happy birthday.
Okay. Hello, Vern. You and John.
Happy birthday, Bun. Vern.
He's in rare form today. He's been singing. He walked a little bit today, which is good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm tell everything.
Me and baby girl and Pastor walked just a little bit this morning till she did her business.
Don't tell
turned
everything.
Around. It was brisk out there too.
Nice and dandy. Put on some extra wrap.
Wake you up. There's Judy Jude. Hey, Judy. I'm so sorry you couldn't hear us the other night. You had to check out, but we'll do it again, sweetheart. And I'm not as proficient on the Zoom as I am with this thing. So I got to do some practicing to make sure I learn how to do things the way I should. But I missed seeing you, Judy Jude. It's good seeing you for just a brief moment while you're there. Hello, Nancy Kelly. Hello, Pearl. Good morning to you guys.
Happy Easter.
Dee Dee said his birthday was great. What did you do for him? You took him out to do dinner or something? Sandra said she enjoyed the Zoom.
Yeah.
And that we may not have been able to see her, but she could see
us.
I
saw her.
Yeah. And, well, sometimes we can't see you, but just knowing that you're there means a whole lot, Sandra. It really does. And Judy says her birthday is Tuesday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And may you have many more good old birthdays.
I call it Happy Coming to Earth Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Happy Coming to Earth Day. Hello, John Greason. Good morning
John
to you.
Jr.
Yeah, glad to have you with us this morning. Alicia just came in the house.
Come on in.
Righty,
come
you
on
guys.
in. Come on
All righty.
in.
All righty. It is Easter. I don't think we're going to do an Easter message, do we? Are we going to do? Every message we do is an Easter message. Yeah, because it lifts us from the bowels of the mind.
Every time you listen to us, it's Easter.
It resurrects you. Yes.
We don't do nothing but Easter stuff.
We resurrect ourselves talking to you.
We don't do nothing but kill a rock, wreck a train, and dare a piece of iron to catch rheumatism.
And of course, our favorite passage of scripture is Galatians 2:20, which is so befitting to what this day is.
I got it right here.
You got it right there. Read it. Go ahead and read it.
I am having a birthday. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
He says, with a capital I, not a small case, a capital I.
All of them are capitalized.
Am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not only live in me, but he is me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me, us. Now,
and it's interesting, it didn't say faith in the Son of God, but faith of the Son of God. I live by the faith of the Son of God, which means I am living by him. And it's not a believing in him, is it? It's not a believing in him.
It is amazing. I told somebody on the phone, I might have been my cousin. Anyway, I said, if you go spirit on this thing, fully loaded, go all the way back to the story. Keep your focus and awareness in spirit. You're going to find out that you were inside of everybody on the earth and other planets, if there's anybody there. You were inside of everybody that stood at the foot of the cross, on even the backside of the cross, and the publicans and the Republicans and everybody who was around that area. You were inside of them as spirit eternal. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question. When did God ever decide that he was not ever going to remain eternal?
That's a strange question.
Did God ever decide that he was going to quit being eternal just to have a body that was not eternal? Here's what we're going to do with this.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do with it. It's no way that you and I, if we're going to say you and us as and I's, it's no way we could enter into this body and not be eternal, and then turn around and find out that somebody left their body and they never ceased to exist. Here's my point again. You came into the story because you created it.
Yes.
You came into the body because you created it. Stay spirit now. Don't slip back and forth into the finite mind. Stay in that part of you that cannot perish.
Right.
You're going to find out in this thing, sweetheart, that it's absolutely impossible. And that's one thing I told God one time. I said, every time I turn around, I hear you talking about Jesus here, Jesus there, Jesus everywhere. I say, what about me? He said, if you want to remain popular in the eyes of God, you better keep your eyes on Jesus, because he's eternal, and so are you. I said, You got it, boss man. I'll stay like I am and wait this thing through because you just showed me that I or us can never be destroyed. Meanness, death, fire brigades, hunger, nails in the hand, nails in the feet, hit by a car. I told my wife, she's out there in the parking lot and the car wanting to get by. I said, baby, you need to move out the way before you tear that car up. We invested in this thing fully loaded because we knew that if we got in this body coming out from our mothers, that if we were not eternal when the body decayed and left, we would do the same thing with it. And I'm so glad that you and I have found out the mysteries and the secret to this walk in this pathless path. We are in the same class of God. I don't understand this thing right now. If I accept the Lord, I'm going to have eternal life as a gift, and I'm going to have this gift to live with Him. I don't investigate it on the other side, but there are some people when they leave their bodies already eternal. They pop out and they over there, and they find out that they didn't stop or they didn't cease to exist because they didn't have a suit. Are you going to quit being eternal just because you had to ride the bus to work? Are you going to quit being eternal just because you didn't get nothing to eat this morning? Are you going to not be eternal just because you don't have a place to stay? Or are you going to stop being eternal just because you somebody in your family went to school and you didn't? Honey, you might as well quit messing with that because you and I and everybody else. Another thing is this. We chose to be eternal. Here's the insight. Because if we come into this story that we in, and all of a sudden, here's what we've been taught. We're going to come into this story, and all of a sudden, if I don't accept Jesus Christ, I ain't going to have eternal life. And the book, in the 16th chapter, Luke said, the beggar and the rich man left their bodies behind, and both of them, one was in another place and another in another state of mind, but they still was eternal. Now, you just can't just go into a council meeting and tell God and everybody else, I think I'll just give eternal life a rest and a break, and I'll just stop being that for the season. And maybe later on down the road, when I get ready, I'll accept Him and get eternal life. It don't work like that. I know I might be going against a lot of tradition and bookers, but I'm telling you the truth. This is a truth that you cannot deny, you cannot get rid of. I'm sorry, honey, you just stuck with eternal life. Whether you come or go, you just stuck with eternal life. And I am so glad I found this out because now I've entered into rest. Now, the next phase we get into, you're going to find out that whether that be 5 dimension, 4 dimension, or 150,000 million dimensions, you don't have to wrestle with it no more, Brother Jerry. You don't have to wrestle with it no more, Sister Phyllis and Brother Phyllis. You don't have to mess with it no more, Brother Kessler, Cornerstone Life, Clinton, and Alicia, and Dion, and no, but Sister People, you just don't have to mess with it. Go on and rest in the everlasting immortality, eternal essence. Beingness cannot overcome what you are-ness, because what you are-ness is what you be.
Beingness cannot overcome what you are-ness?
No.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Beingness cannot overcome what you are-ness in the physical realm. It can, but you not. My point is this, sweetheart. You might as well just settle that what you've been looking for and trying to get, you are it. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't get these words together, but you understand what I'm saying. Stay with me. Yeah. Because I'm not, I used to think that if I went to church on Sunday morning, if something was to happen to me, I'm going to heaven. And if I didn't go to church on Sunday morning, I'm going to hell. This is the way the mind thinks. Well, when I was in the moonshine house and they would come through the bedroom and going into the kitchen to get a shot. First thing my uncle would say, he need to get up and go to church on Sunday morning. Well, I did. I got up a few Sunday morning, went to church. But when I came back, they hadn't been. And they still standing in the same spot drunk in the kitchen. I said, now, I know they're looking out for me, want me to go there. Maybe if there's a chance of me going to church and making it in, they were looking out for me. But I was wondering, why would they tell me to go and they didn't go? Well, every once in a while, they'd go to them churches in the country. That big meeting out there where they had them long tables where all them tater pies and cakes were strung from one end with a sheet laid over it. And you got enough flowers on top of that sheet to hold that thing down if the wind was blowing. And they go out there and they go to church and Reverend preach and they come out of the country church, go out to the liquor house, come home drunk, started fighting. And I said, what happened to the church? It didn't do no good. What they went to church to get, it didn't stick. It didn't take. There is a rest that you can enter into if you want to or not. You might as well just go ahead on and just be eternal with or without anybody else's agreement. What do you think about that, Shirley?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
So what is rest?
Rest is okay. Go ahead.
You guys tell me, what do you think it means when it says that there is a rest to the people of God? What do you think that means? I have an idea, but there aren't many of us resting. There aren't many of us resting, really resting. We are inwardly struggling a lot of times. Inwardly, there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of pushing and a lot of grasping, and there's very little contentment in most of us. So what do you think the rest is?
You want me to talk to you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's rest. The rest of God is the rest of you. If God had anything to be added to him, you're the rest of it. You're the rest of every eternal being in the universe. I don't care how much the wind blow, the storm, the lightning flash. I met an old guy in Fort Payne, Alabama. He's out there working with the cows, Buzz, and the lightning struck him. He'd been struck by lightning 2 or 3 times. Knocked him in the milk bucket out in the field. I looked at him and I said, am I talking to somebody that got struck by lightning 2 or 3 times? His wife said, yeah. So he's been struck. Ain't killed him yet. He's still there. If you enter into rest, which you don't have to because you are the rest of God. If there's any more to God to be added, you're the rest of it.
Buzz says, for him, awareness is the only thing that requires no effort at all. Yes, that's true. It's exactly true. And being aware of yourself as awareness is I think is where the trick is, because most of us aren't aware that we are awareness. We are aware of a lot of things, but we're not aware of ourselves as being awareness. Jill says resting to her is knowing that everything is okay and always has been. Tanita says that it's not struggling with your identity, which I think is good. That's good, Tanita. That's exactly right. And then Sissy says being able to be content no matter what is going on. So those are all good answers about, and I think all of that is true about what real rest is. Even when we do these live streams, we have to come into a level of rest to do these live streams, because we have to get beyond trying to perform for you guys. We have to get beyond trying to say something profound so you guys will be impressed. So it means a whole lot, doesn't it?
Look what Vincent said.
Hey, Vincent, he says, my rest is when I stop chasing it It caught me. Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
saw
sir.
you this morning when you.
Yes, sir.
I saw you before you came online.
Yes,
I knew you were
sir.
gonna be here.
That's a good way to look at it, Vincent. My rest is when I stopped chasing it. It caught me. And that's the same thing with this we call it enlightenment, awakening, all of this stuff, of knowing your pure self, knowing your true self, self-realization. All of that is the same thing. The more we try to become, the further away it gets from us.
Okay.
So it's about really just taking a deep breath and just letting go. But that doesn't always happen spontaneously. It comes a lot of times when you've gone as far as you can and you realize that your struggle and your effort is futile.
In my experience, in my personal experience with the other side and investigating into NDE, near-death experiences, most of those that jump it light speed out of their bodies, they get over there, and some of them turn around and look at their bodies laying there, and some of them say,
and some of them are really amazed at
that they watched the
what
doctor
they see.
and
Yes,
and they realize that the struggle of the unrest is in the mind and the physical world.
Yes.
Now,
in fact, some of them come back into their bodies, from what we've heard of their testimonies, and they realize how heavy, and it's like coming into sludge, and
pain, suffering, and misery,
and a real heaviness, and that's the way some of them describe when they come back into their bodies. The lightness that they experience when they're outside the body, totally different from being in the body.
I was in a service in Greensboro, and the preacher was preaching in the small section of the YMCA, and destiny saw fit to zoom me out of my body while I was sitting there looking at the preacher. And when I went up through the ceiling, I noticed in my resting state, in my infinite state, I could look in all directions at one time and not lose 1 ounce of my identity. But yet, when I got up there above the clouds, I hit on a solid foundation, just like that. And I turned.
How's do it?
You see, just like that, just like that, just like that. See, don't. I'm business now. I'm a businessman. See, I'm a businessman. And I know, Vincent. I saw my 7 degrees of consumality.
Oh Lord.
And I looked back down through the clouds, and I looked down through the top of the building. I could see them in there talking and teaching and preaching. And I looked over to my right in my infinite vision, and I saw a lady over there on my right side that had problem with her bladder and kidney area. And while I was standing on this highway in the sky beyond the clouds, I remember the thump that my feet hit, my spirit awareness, consciousness thump. And I could still see myself all over the universe while looking down there on top of that YMCA. And I said, when I looked, I kind of like I leaned over, looked down, and the mind said, boy, it is a long way down there. From down there up here, it is a long way. And no sooner than I became the mind of finite, infinity, boom, I was back in my body.
You mean the minute you became back to
being
identified with a body,
identified,
you came right back into.
And I looked at, I said, doggone it, I could have stayed up there a little while longer. And then when they got ready to dismiss the service, I could have just popped up in.
This is the thing. When you're a body, you think there's an up there and a down
there.
That's
true.
It's really no up there or down there.
Yeah. Now.
So that's how we identify with our bodies and think that's us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here's resurrection power. Go through your Course in Miracles and go through your Bible if you want to. Each time you run across anything in there that's reference to personal being, personality, names, Jesus, Moses, all the names of different genealogies of generations of people, of beings. Okay, stop, take a breath. As an eternal being, you are the place inside of them called a placeless place of absolute eternal rest. That part that is stillness, glory be to God, is no way disturbed by sophisticated reasonings. And
yeah. And I'm reminded of something. You spoke with a young lady the other day who was interested in finding out what it was God wanted her to do.
That's true.
She wanted to pray for her to find out what it was God wanted her to do. But I said to him, and we discussed it, the unrest of knowing, wanting to know what it is God wants you to do is stemming from the egoic mind, because you as the essence of God is not interested in any accolades. It's not interested in trying to succeed. It's not interested in trying to live up to some image, to have notoriety. It is not interested in trying to leave a legacy. It is not interested in trying to find fulfillment, because all of those are coming from an incomplete self. That all is coming from an incomplete, that desire to know, what does God want me to do? What does God call me for? All of that is an unrest coming from an incomplete self.
Let me say this right quick. When you find out or see or finally know that you are the rest of God, the peace of God that's a part of all of us, is called sameness. Listen to this. Another way to look at this is that once you understand who you are, you will immediately send a shockwave treatment through all of the physical anatomy, and even that part that does not want to keep still, that's busy in the mind and emotions, up 1 minute, down the next. The shock wave will reveal to them that you no longer identify with anything that has to do with unrest.
Okay, break down what you mean, the shock wave.
The shock wave is this. You are the electrical energy of eternal life. The shock wave is it's like static electricity. Awareness, seeing, and knowing you are the energy of the life of God. You had to be the energy and the life and the rest of God to come into this world, because there was nothing else that you created outside of yourself that could stand to hold you, except for that which you made.
Okay.
And I remember the contract that we decided before coming into this story about the type of bodies that we were going to wear when we came here.
Well, I heard someone say this. We not only chose what family we were going to come into, we chose the type of body we were going to have.
That's right.
Yeah, we chose all of that. So these are not accidents.
You know, the best definition of shockwave is an aha moment.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean you said
yes.
Now I see it.
I don't think everybody goes it's more subtle than that, but yeah. I got you.
Then, or it might be like, wake up one morning and
say, oh, I got it.
Hot dog with less than tomatoes. I know now that I am the resting place of God.
Yeah, let me get some of these comments, which are good. Hey, Lisa, she said, rest to me is a state of no turbulence, no out of control thoughts in my mind. I call it Sabbatismo. Never heard of that word. You're going to have to let me know what that means. Sometimes and this isn't to shoot down anything that you said, Lisa, but I know a lot of times the mind is always out of control, and finding the way to not be lost in the mind is the only way you'll find the rest, isn't it? Because if you stay in the mind, you can't control that mind. That mind can't be controlled. You have to walk off from it inside yourself. Buzz says this: I think we are here for a reason, and that is to help in evolution and be loving, because that is what is evolving. That is the purpose of life, so to say. When we become aware of what we are, that's good. And what we are not, it makes it easier to love. Yes, Buzz. Yes, thank you for bringing us back around to our pure selves and our pure nature. I feel myself, I'm having a shift. There's a shift taking place in me, and I just started to notice it the last couple of days. A lot of my desires are changing, and I'm wanting less to impress. It's really becoming. It's almost like I don't even want to try to impress anyone. I don't even want to think about trying to impress somebody, and it's coming to a point where I want to just be authentic. Just be authentic. I don't want to try to make people feel good. I don't want to try to fix their problems. I don't want them to try to be different. I don't want to have to be different for them. I'm coming to that place of absolute authenticity. When you reach this point, there's a lot of desires things and behaviors that you've had in the past will begin to drop off, and you will be a different kind of person than you've been before. And I feel that taking place in me.
Okay. If I had known what I know now, if I was aware of what I'm aware of as being awareness.
Or just being aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to bring this to a place where love and forgiveness being hard or easy.
Mm-hmm.
That love of being,
or a practice.
Yeah, I don't have to practice it anymore, but if I want to, I can. Now here's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I can go outdoors and look at my Jeep and say all I want to all day long that I am 4 wheels, front wheel drive and back wheel drive. And that in itself, if I could get whatever I needed to be repaired on it for a moment, I'm satisfied when it's repaired, fixed, and I still got a little change left.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what I know you guys know this, but it's kind of like you have to be stung every once in a while.
That's the shock treatment.
The shock treatment.
Shockwave treatment.
Mm-hmm. Shock you out of separation from being separated to where you can say it's hard or easy to forgive. And see, with tears and suffering.
Or even the effort.
Effort
To try to be loving or forgive. Yes.
Your knowing vein, like the vein inside of a shrimp, devein it. There's a deveining.
That's a good way to put it.
Deveining this thing that says,
yeah.
I am at peace because I got what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Lady said to me,
"That's not true peace."
No.
That's a very fleeting.
It come and goes.
Episode.
And you guys know in the mentors and the guys that we know that's in the middle path, they'll tell you in a minute that anything that comes and goes is not real.
And that's what I mean when I say the shift is taking place in me, because I'm realizing now that just fixing what I think is not fixed doesn't bring me lasting peace.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bring me lasting peace, because the moment that's fixed, then something else is going to pop up in the mind and in the desires, and there you go again. So it's like the shift has to take place where now it is no longer significant to try to fix things. And so nothing is more important now than my understanding of that I am, and living from that authentically, not trying to, but actually living from that and embodying it. And so it's and I like what Marlon says here. He said, rest is like sitting back on a cloud, sipping a glass of emptiness.
But you have to realize this rest that we're talking about is not a passivity.
It's not passivity. You will still strive, you will still make efforts, and you will still have aspirations, but they will not be coming from a place of anxiety. They will not be coming from a place of unrest.
Okay. What gives off the idea that rest is something to be obtained is the monkey mind and the struggle with the ego. And the ego is always trying to get something, ain't got enough, need some more of something.
Yeah, I just had an aha.
Yeah,
a shockwave. For people who are trying to be healthy, they will never be healthy while they're trying to be healthy. The trying is unhealthy. That's the point. The trying is the unhealthy.
The mind and the body is conditioned to give off the idea that as long as I'm here, I'll never obtain the walk of peace. And yet the book says there is a rest to the people of God. I'm going to move it over into the big stuff. The people of God is all of us.
All of us, exactly. I like what Buzz says. Buzz says, I've experienced some of that. I used to be obsessed with horror movies and don't care much about them anymore. You can tell the shift is taking place because things you used to like and behaviors and all of that begins to change without you trying to change it, without you trying to be loving, without you trying to forgive, without you trying to be a certain way. It's like the shift just begins to happen. He said my loss of interest mainly comes from studying Buddhism and trying to be mindful. And your loss of interest is coming from what the studying of Buddhism gives you, which is grace to be mindful.
Okay. Before you could get in this body, or before you chose this cup for you as the juice to take shape in, you had to break through all the evolutionary scars, emotional, mental. The Lord said about Job in the book, he said, is he not a righteous man? And the dark entities begin to question, if you let me do certain things to Job, said, I'll let you'll find out that he's really not as faithful. Let's go home. Let's go home, y'all. And here's my point. Let's go home. Jesus was on the ship, on the boat. In the hinder part of the ship, he was in rest. Always see this and never lose it. And you're allowed to express emotions. Go deep, deep, deep. Let the magnetic drawing power of your essence pull you. I'm going to stop right here. When I met her, I didn't know what it was that I saw in her that was very, very stateliness. And I didn't think that I would be able to be around her because she was in a place in her essence that seemed like I was not. So whenever I go 2 or 3 places and see her, I just mess with and aggravate her. But she never lost that thing in her that finally revealed to both of us that we are the piece of each other in the resting place inside of Moses, Elijah, and all the people from Genesis to Revelation, and all the people that had anything to do with the script in the course, you will never ever be destroyed or disturbed in that place of rest. But there's only one thing you'll have to eventually settle for. Come hell or high water, with strong travailing crying, you are the foundation of this universe and the foundation in every man, woman, and child on this earth in the stately state of rest. Don't leave that. And this is the reason why we came here. We came here. Yeah. We can't. This is let me tell you something. This is one of the nastiest, filthiest, low down, dingus McGee places for training in the universe.
But it's the best place.
We chose it. We fixed it like this.
It's the best place. It's the best place.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
The frustration, and I'll go back to the shift that I mentioned that I'm having. I'm shifting from trying to be spiritual, and I think that's and there's a lot entailed in that. It's a whole lot of stuff wrapped up in trying to be spiritual.
Yes.
Trying to appear spiritual, trying to feel spiritual, trying to live and some people would call it trying to be Christ-like or trying to walk in love. So I'd say this as an example. If let's just say I make it in my mind, I'm going to be I'm going to encourage people today. And I go out and I start to try to do that. When I speak to people, I'm trying to say things that'll make them feel better and all of this. It still isn't authentic because it isn't coming from me authentically. It's coming from my mind that has made a decision. This is the kind of person I should be. Or let's just say I'm going to make sure I smile at everybody today. Your smile isn't genuine because you just made a decision to smile because your mind is saying that's the kind of person I ought to be. Let's just say I'm going to show affection and be kind to everybody today. Well, now my mind is still not authentic because my mind has decided this is the kind of person I'm supposed to be. So it's never coming from, in those cases, it's not coming from a place of spontaneity or authenticity. In other words, the smile isn't real. I'm putting it on. The encouragement isn't real. I'm putting it on. All of these things, and we've been taught pretty much to put these things on. And so we never get to a place of authenticity because we go based on what we think this image is in our mind of what a person is when they're spiritual or when they're loving. And so we go about trying to be loving, but then we're never authentically loving.
That's right.
And so I feel this shift taking place in me. Where it has to come from a place of genuineness. And so that means if I don't feel like smiling, I'm not going to smile just to look friendly, just to look friendly. Now that doesn't mean be unfriendly, but it means you don't have to smile. There was a case in the scriptures where Jesus told him, don't even salute anybody on the way. Don't wave at them. Don't even say hello. So we have this image in our mind of what it looks like to be loving. And that image is not coming from a place of authenticity.
In the midst of turmoil, in the deep part of the subconscious super self, Christ's identity in that boat, in the low-ends of the boat, the subconscious self, super self. Sleep in the midst of a storm.
Yeah. Not making myself go to sleep.
No.
But I'm actually going to go to sleep. I am actually sleeping.
I guarantee.
I'm going to lay here and I'm going to try to go to sleep while it's storming. That's not coming from a place of authenticity.
Now, My mom, before she crossed over, left her body, she was so attached
to her body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to her
way of
living, way of surviving, and
the
way she lived. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I've seen, well, most of us have the attachment, these umbilical cord strings.
We do. And I've noticed that as we get older, the attachments get stronger if you don't remain awake.
You cut a bunch of them off. Mm-hmm. Now, the remedy for unrest is you must find out an awareness that regardless of how much the wind blows, you cannot disturb the undisturbed.
Exactly.
Now what I'm saying is this. I've been around people that fasted 40 days and 40 nights. I've always wanted to do that.
Never made it.
I never made it.
10.
Yeah, I made it.
That's where his hats came from.
Yeah, I saw it.
He started making those hats after we fasted for 10 days.
I got a revelation on how to make them. I've been making them ever since.
He got so hungry during those 10 days till we both started watching Emerald Live cooking shows.
Sure did. Mm-hmm.
That was the closest thing we could get to food. Mm-hmm. So we watched everything. And so at the end of those 10 days, he decided he was going to cook. He's never been one to go in the kitchen and cook. I'm going to have a neck bone party. He's never been one to go in the kitchen and cook. Mm-hmm. But he decided that at this point he wanted to cook, and of all things, he wants to fix a neck bones and have a neck bone party. Mm-hmm. Now I don't even know if people buy neck bones anymore, but they were the cheapest meat you could get.
Well, whoever the one that came in and ate it and got sick.
He had a big pot of neck bones. But anyway, he wanted to cook so bad, I bought him a chef's hat. Mm-hmm. And when he had the chef hat on, he mashed it down. This is what it became. He imagined it having a bib on it, and that's it. That's how that was born. But I like what Oliver says. He says, in our reality, there is no effort. We merely are.
The effortless self.
Mm-hmm. In our authenticity.
Effortless.
I want to mention this. I watched I think it was a TED Talk that I watched, and I don't remember the person's name. But this was a transgender female. She had changed genders from male to female and was talking about living authentically. Mm-hmm. And she said that she now understood women more because she had been one. She is being one. That until you be a man and be a woman, you don't understand either one of them. Mm-hmm. And so she said to live authentically is come from a place of being. And that's not putting on an image. And I know back in our Jesus in Me days, we were trying our best to be like Jesus. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Everybody, we even had a slogan, what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. What would Jesus do? And so you tried your best to live up to that standard, and not realizing the more you try to live up to that standard, not that it's wrong to do it, it just doesn't come from a place of authenticity. Jesus was not walking around trying to be loving. That just came from a place of spontaneity. Yeah. He wasn't saying, I'm going to give today. That's coming from a place, that's not coming from a place of authenticity. When you truly give, you do it out of the goodness of your heart without even thinking about a return, whether it's being planted as a seed. You don't think about if anybody's going to say thank you or reciprocate it in any way whatsoever. It's just, I'm giving. And so it's like that with everything in life. In our spiritual walk, it's supposed to come from a place of spontaneity and authenticity, a genuine place, not I'm going to make it up and be that kind of person.
I know what it is like, you guys, to be in a room with my physical bloodline of family. And when the one that enters the room is the one that caused so much trouble and turmoil that was designed in my life and the family's life. By me knowing that I am eternal forgiveness, with or without the feeling, or with and without
having
the desire to or not to.
Yes.
I found out that there's a switch on the inside of us, and we use it all the time. The switch is like you riding in the car and you done checked out. That's checking out is the same thing that happened to people that on their iPhone and trying to drive and texting trying to drive. You're not really in the car, you are somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, what I decided to do was go inside and experience the peace. And when I did experience in that finite side of me, my finite side really didn't like that kind of peace, except for when things were going right in the physical world. Then it made it a little bit easier to do that. But what I wanted to do, what the real part of awareness is, I wanted to stay in this place and not let anything get on my last little nerve or whoever my nerve is.
And that's what we long for. To be able to stay in that place.
That's it.
Yes.
And like the guy told Muja one time, he said, I got peace, I got rest, I got all these things that he teach about.
He said, I just don't have any money.
I just, one thing missing. He said, I just don't have any money. He said, I done went through everything you said and it worked, but I just don't have no money. Musha said, you haven't gone deep enough. You haven't gone far enough. The day is the day that supposedly be the resurrection day of us. 2020 years ago and many lifetimes we've been through this. This that we in now is a little bit different because for some of us, it is the final place that we'll leave and never come back to. Because based on our evolution evolving, we've conquered the anger and the murderous, vicious side of the ego and all the other demonic dark forces. And we have found out in this dimension, the key to overcoming is your true identity. Now, I'm not talking about your birth certificate.
Right.
I'm talking about inclusiveness that would literally be experienced. And we can talk this from now to the end of this week. And it would never satisfy. The words that we say are words that will never satisfy until you experience inside yourself. And it's like I finally said, you mean to tell me I was already this? That I was trying to, some part of me was trying to struggle to get.
Yes. And that's my point. So now I'm finding the shift is also causing me to have a loss of interest in traditional holidays, days that we celebrate. Not that we can't. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying for myself, holidays don't feel like they used to because I've lost interest in a lot of the traditions. Even things that we have as family traditions don't mean I'm losing interest in a lot of that because they don't hold as much significance anymore. And I realized even like when we got together as a family on yesterday, when we get together as a family, it's more important to me now to have the get together. And it's not so much important about what we do while we're together. The tradition of getting together and having this happen and that happen and all that doesn't mean a whole lot to me anymore. So the significance of the traditions is lessening inside of me. Holy days don't mean as much. Easter doesn't mean as much to me as it used to.
Go ahead.
The traditions have lost their significance. Not that the traditions aren't good; they're valuable.
Your identity has been redone.
Exactly. So I'm realizing now that every day is a holy day. Every day is a family day. Every day. So we have, even in our way of thinking about events, we have separated ourselves even in that. We've made certain days more significant than others. So the separation has gone so deep, and I'm beginning to come out of it in my understanding and seeing. And so a lot of the traditions have lost their influence on me or impact.
You know, I hear the old church song that go in, it's crunked up inside of me, Brother George, and the words are, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the waters. I shall not be moved.
Yeah.
Young man said, Sir, I want to be like you. How did you get to this place? Followed the young man down to the stream and went out in the middle of the stream. Surrendered he was to the master, and master put him down up under the water and held him there until finally he started fighting for life.
Yes.
And the master let him up.
Yeah.
He said, when you get to the place where there is no more fighting and you totally surrender,
and you want this
as bad as your breath.
Bad as you want that breath.
That's right.
I heard another person say, when you have a man in the desert, has been in the desert for days and hasn't had water, when you want God like you want that drink of water, that's when you'll get it.
There's an old saying, a kind of a fun thing, said camels in the desert are considered cabs. They travel people and can go without water. I guess they still water them humps on their back.
They do.
And they can go for days or weeks without water.
Yeah. Well, baby girl, last time she got dehydrated, we took her to the ER. They put a pouch of water inside under her skin.
Yeah.
Just like that hump on the camel. Yeah.
So the camel came up to a time to get water.
So you're going to tell a joke.
Yeah. And they thought that maybe it was time for it to drink, or they didn't pay attention to the time that they were riding this camel, and they felt like it was time for a drink. So they came up to the trough, and all the other camels were standing there, and they tried their best to push that camel's head down in the water to drink, because they had a little more journey to go. And they didn't know what to do about it. They done wrestled with him and and the camel would not move. I shall not be moved. And somebody came up that was familiar with camel cabs.
Camel cabs.
Cars.
You know, they had a cab in Winston-Salem where we grew up called Camel.
Yeah.
Camel Cab Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy said, here's what I want you to do. And this is this training class we in. He said, I want both of y'all, two guys, to go up the front, grab that camel by his long neck and wrestle that thing down. And when you get his mouth down that close to the water, he said, I'm going to go back to the back of that camel, and I'm going to get me 2 bricks. And them such a thing that's hanging back there.
Oh, Lord.
With the camel's head down in that water, he said, I'm going to clamp down on them things back there in the back. And he went back there and said, oh, you ready up there in the front? They said, yeah. They went to wrath and got his head down. He clamped down on them. That camel starts sucking water up through his mouth, come dust and sand and wood. He sucked everything out of that water trough.
You would tell that.
And
now.
He said, that's the way you get a stubborn camel to drink water.
Now, what was the benefit of telling
The benefits of it is this. Watch this.
I'm watching.
The rock was created by God. The camel was created by God. The water was created by God, which is us. And the 2 being up front,
the stubborn camel.
The stubborn camel is all these concupiscences that seem to trouble our undisturbing self. I'm going to say it again. You are in a good place in your awareness of peace.
You definitely are.
I don't care how it is. It's not disturbed. I told my uncle in his face before he died, I forgive you. And I couldn't say that I forgive him and track it over all the places. My head was forced down to the water trough. And God had showed me how on the back end of this thing, he's going to clamp down on me through pressure to get me to understand that he don't have to pressure you when you find out who you are and what your true state is. I could say I forgive him with travailing tears and know that I don't care how many times the memory of the past, of the hate and the mean and the thing that he did to others, I knew then that in reality, the realness of me was that identity of peace.
Yeah.
And I released it out of my mouth.
You meant it.
I know that, you know,
in spite of the feelings.
You don't mean what you're saying. You need to check my identity, because if I'm going to say it, I know something about my true identity. And what I say from that part of me and my state of peace, it stick. Is there? And like people going to church, they make altar calls. They done been up to the altar 4 or 5 times every week, every Sunday, every month, trying to give their life back to Jesus because they done some sin in confession. They go to the confession booth. Let me tell you something. I settled it.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to keep getting saved over and over again. And every night I go home and get on my knees. Lord, forgive me for cussing. Forgive me for lying. Forgive me for stealing. And I said, is there any place where this come to an end? And every night when I left you, I went home. You made me ask for forgiveness. I mean, the way you treat me, baby. So I went on to the house and I got on my knees. Now lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Okay.
Let's
do this.
Yeah.
This is our finality for the day.
Okay.
I want you to say this with me. I give thanks to thee, O God, for my existence.
I give thanks to thee, O God, for my existence.
For your presence.
For your presence.
For this awareness.
For this awareness.
For the awareness of my existence.
For the awareness of my existence.
I surrender the illusion.
I surrender the illusion
of being a person.
Of being a person. I surrender the illusion of being separated from every spirit being in the universe.
Yes.
I surrender. Yes. And you know what's so easy about surrender? My surrender is based on his surrendering me for me, just beingness.
Yes.
Love you.
On that note, well, happy Easter. We'll see you guys the next time. We'll be back on Tuesday at 7.
Sure will. And yeah, we thank everybody for that session that we had on the secret place, the closet.
The Zoom.
The Zoom.
I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, you did. But I want a person to say, I enjoyed it. If I could,
we'll do it again.
If I could, I would get you on the Starship Enterprise and beam every last one of you here in this room. But in physical, but in spirit, we're still together.
Yes. So, guys, we will see you again on Tuesday at 7. And then on Thursday, if Lord willing, if Pastor Norman is still available, he's opened his church, so he's probably getting busier than he has been. But I think he'll be back with us on Thursday at 12:30 for impromptu. And we just pray that you have a good, happy Easter and enjoy your long weekend if you're having it.
Listen, there will be a time, if you stay with us, what I didn't finish in that secret place closet class, you'll pick up some more pieces of my experience in the closet, and as you tune into us, because I never know when I'm going to say the mystical side of my experiences. But I'm not.
It's kind of hard now to structure.
Yeah, it is.
Structure
really
things
because so many things have happened.
Yeah.
But we're still there.
We will do another one, and we might just do another live stream where you can just do it here too. But anyway, if you need to give, and I know your hearts are bursting to give. I know they're bursting to give. Thank you guys for being supportive of Cornerstone.
Thank you.
And if you want to do that today, you can go to the website, which is thecornerstonelifecenter.com, or you can text it, CLC Greensboro. And Jill has already posted that in the comment section as well. Or you can go to paypal.me/cornerstone35. And for those of you who like to mail and don't necessarily want to use Cash App or whatever, go ahead and mail it to P.O. Box 36259. And that's in Greensboro, North Carolina, 27416.
Leslie?
To bless Pastor and myself, go to Cash App, $A Sawyer C. And if you still want to mail it, you can mail it to that P.O. Box, and Laverne will make sure that we get it. So we bless you guys. We expect a healthy, hearty return for all of your giving to us. And we thank you so much.
Leslie, if you're there, here's the line for you. Your father in bed is Christ. And all of those that are helping take care of your father is Christ. I carry all of you in the heart of eternal essence, inside and outside.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming to this dimension and to this story to allow us to meet again. And we send the blessings of God, eternal essence, from inside of you, around you, and command doors to open for you that no man can shut.
And take this time before you leave us, while you're thinking of giving, also take this time to like and share. Hit the like button and share button if you want to. And if you're on YouTube, to subscribe so you can get notifications of when we go live. Okay? We love you so much. We'll see you again. Have a happy Easter.